Hello everybody and welcome back to Mutti Plays Pokemon Sapphire version. Today we are going to explore Route 128, 129, and a bit of Route 130. I'm not sure about 131. I think, maybe, kinda, sorta. But next couple, well, this part at least is going to be mostly fighting trainers in the watery routes of Eastern Hoenn, and 39 might have a bit of a break from that, but 40 probably gonna be more trainer fighting. If I don't go through it terribly quickly. But, yeah. That should be what I have planned for tomorrow. Cake. I like cake. Who doesn't like cake? Oh. Wait, no, there might be people who are allergic to cake for some reason or another. I feel so sorry for you! You can't have cake! I feel so sorry! But, anyways, I requested a red velvet cake to help celebrate my birthday, and, whilst shopping, the person obtaining my cakey delight the first shop she went to, she was unable to locate a red velvet cake, so she got red velvet brownies. And she also found red velvet cupcakes. She did eventually find a cake mix for red velvet, but, the red velvet cupcakes. Oh, they are so delicious. Now, I had heard that red velvet cake goes really good with, cream cheese frosting from watching a cupcake show. But I never had cream cheese frosting before. But the cupcakes do have cream cheese frosting, and the cake maker has acquired cream cheese frosting for the proper cake, so that would be delicious. And I tried it on the cupcakes, and man, I fucking love cream cheese frosting! Not to... One thing I like to have in my cake, well, in my frosting, is that I prefer when the frosting has a sort of texture to it that normally, at least from what I've seen, it gets when it's been in the fridge for a while. But that particular texture tends to get lost if it's left out at room temperature for a while, which my cake maker will most likely do because she likes cake at room temperature, I think. But I tried the cupcakes and the frosting. I don't know if it's... I don't think it's because of the red velvet crumbs on top, but the frosting has managed to maintain the sort of texture that I like, even though those cupcakes have been sitting at room temperature for a few days. And Oh my gosh, it is so wonderful. It is so wonderful. Oh my gosh. There's 4 cupcakes left. I want to try to not eat any of them well, not eat the rest of them until tomorrow because I want something to tide me over until I get my actual proper red velvet cake. Oh my gosh. Bite-sized goodness of red velvet frosting. Oh, so yummy. And since we're talking about cake, let's move on to pie. For the longest time, because I was a picky kid that was afraid of different things, at least in food, I had only eaten pumpkin pie because I knew what pumpkin pie tastes like. It didn't have anything funky in it. It was just the pumpkin filling and the goodness of the pumpkin pie. And I'm still a bit picky about my food. If the food has seeds in it normally, I don't like eating it, and when it comes to soup, I am very hesitant to sample it if it's got chunks of things that are not broth, unless they're noodles. But, I have grown to at least give things a shot now. Like, with the pies, I have grown to liking key lime pie. It's still, pure fillingy goodness, possibly with whipped cream. But with a pleasant, sour, limey taste. And I also like lemon meringue pie. I've yet to have a lemon meringue that has just the right, lemon to meringue balance, like, enough sweet in the meringue to counter out the sour in the lemon. And, I'm more willing to have apple pie, and oh, apple crumb pie. I think that's what it's called. Or is it Dutch apple pie? It's got a bunch of crumbs on it. I love what the crumbs do to the texture. But anyways, now I know that, people tend to use green apples in apple pies so that the tartness of the green apples counteracts the sweet, but from what I've tried, either the tartness did not blend with the sweet completely, or they were just not too tart in the apples. But anyways, my point is that the green apples were too tart, and it was biting into sour when I expected to bite into sweet. Like a sweet with a hint of tart, but the apples did not absorb enough of the sweet to not be overly tart. So if I were to ever make apple pie on my own, I might just go for sweet apples. And, which reminds me, one time in the 2nd grade, we were being educated on apples, and they told us that red apples were sweet, yellow apples were sweet, and green apples were tart. And the teacher passed out these little apple drawings and told us to color them with our favorite type of apple. And I couldn't decide because I, quite frankly, had only had red apples, so it wouldn't be fair. So, but I did like sweet, I did like sour, and I just colored the apple with 3 different colors, but with the 3 different colors. But for some reason they wouldn't let me do that. They wanted me to pick a color and stick with it. So I just colored over the yellow and the green to be red, and I was all grumpy face. I don't like whipped cream. It doesn't have much flavor. Like, I expect the stuff to be at least a little sweet, but it barely has anything resembling sweet to me. So I'm like argle flargle gargle. And I'm not sure if the same is true for chocolate whipped cream. I can't remember if I've had it. I should request it at some point. Oh, and there was this one time a while back I tried cooking a steak with maple syrup to make it taste like maple syrup. I think technically I succeeded, but I had used light syrup, so I was getting the light syrupy taste, and that was not fun times. So, I also learned that syrup does not, it makes a mess if you cook with it. And, let's see, anything else in the sweets department that I want to ramble about and further irritate your stomachs with? I'm not terribly fond of nuts. At first, I didn't like them because I was a kid and I was unwilling to try new things. But now I don't like them because nuts are dry and they're not terribly crunchy. So it just makes my mouth become unhappy to have all that dry crap in my mouth. But in the right situations, I will ingest the stuff. Like, take 5 bars. I don't mind the nuts in there. And 0 bars. I didn't care that there were nuts in those. I'd still eat them, and they're kind of a... 0 bars are kind of a nostalgic candy for me, because, like, It's something I remember my mom loving, and she would let me have a bite of it before she had it to herself, I think. And, yeah. Just... But, I do like crisped rice as a thing to make a chocolate bar crunchy instead of nuts. Because with the crisped rice, it's all crunchy, none of the dry of the nuts. So, it's crunchy and I get chocolate. Yay! Chocolate! And like, I do appreciate nutty flavors, like in Butterfingers and peanut butter. It's just, I don't like the nuts themselves. Because they're all dry and crap. And it makes my mouth feel like I just chewed... What do I want to compare nuts to in this situation? Soggy wood chips, I suppose, would be a good way. Soggy to the point where they're not hard anymore, but they still give enough resistance that the bite and stuff. I can see that we have less than 20 seconds to finish commentating on this part. So next time I will show you guys Pacifilog Town and the watery routes to the west of it. And I will see you guys then!